Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very blessed afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 12th IIUM CELPAD webinar series. I'm Farid Latif of English Language Division, CELPAD, based on Gambang campus, and I'll be the moderator for today's webinar. So let's begin the session with the recitation of Al-Fatiha. It's actually an absolute honor of mine and pleasure of mine actually to be moderating this webinar. So thank you so much, Dr. Havinder, for inviting me and trusting me to host this event. And before I go any further, I would actually like to contextualize the webinar a little bit so that we can paint a clearer picture of as to why we gather here today. This webinar serves as an extension to the CFS IIUM Takrim Day 2021 that took place in March. So for your information, the two speakers who are with me today had bagged prestigious accolades and awards on the CFS IIUM Takrim Day 2021. So in a way, this is a cause for celebration and also to hear what they have to say about, today's topic, which is about technology and emotions. Okay, so joining me today are two super women and Murabis whom I dearly adore. So our first speaker is Sister Nurhazwani Jatin. She is a lecturer of English from ELDCFS, so the same department as mine. She was born in Beaufort, Sabah, but she said, I need to say it as Bupot, right? To be a little bit of Sabahan. So she left her hometown at the young age of 18 years old to pursue tertiary education at IIUM. And I can say that IIUM is really her second home because she did her foundation studies, bachelor's degree, and master's degree at the same university. And her first teaching job was at the International Islamic College, IIC, which is part of IIM Holdings. So, and she has worked at CFS IIUM since 2015. And then she then took on the role as a course coordinator in 2017 and is still a course coordinator now. Her area of interest is the use of automated writing evaluation, AWE, in writing instructions. And she was the winner for Young Murabi Award on CFS IIUM Takrim Day 2021. She gave me a very specific instruction not to mention the award that she had won, but I think this is a cause for celebration, so I need to mention it anyway. And our second speaker is Sister Shahazilia Muhammad Ismail. She is also a lecturer of English from ELDCFS. She was born in Penang, a Penangite. She has vast experience in teaching. She kicked off her teaching career as a pioneer group of lecturers at College Legenda Langkawi in 1998. She'd also taught at Inti University College in Nilai, UniKL Miat, IUKL, Uniten, UPM, and USIM. She's been teaching in IIUM since November 2014. Sister Zelia is also a part-time trainer for English, public speaking, and presentation skills. She completed her Bachelor of Education in TESOL at UPM, and she's now completing her Master's in Educational Psychology at IIUM. She's also a strong advocate of kindness, charity, and second chances. And lastly, she was the winner for Murabi Award on CFS IIUM Takrim Day 2021. So congratulations to the both of you. Anyway, to the members of the audience who are watching this live on YouTube, please feel free to ask questions in the comment section because at the end of the webinar, we are going to have a Q&A session as well, inshallah. Today's topic is of technology and emotions, a sharing session. So as we know, technology and emotions or mental health, these two words seem to be the buzzwords that we have constantly been using since the start of the pandemic last year. So I think this is timely. It's just about time for us to, delve further into this theme. So our first speaker, Sister Nohazwani, will offer you her hot take on empowering and leveraging learning tools that we have. So without further ado, I'd like to invite Sister Hazwani to speak. Over to you, Sister Wani.
Thank you, Brother Farid. Let me quickly share my screen. All right, can you see my screen now?
Yep, it's looking good.
Alhamdulillah, thank you so much. Okay, Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, everyone. I am Nur Hazwani, as introduced by Brother Farid just now. With me, my role model. She's my role model, actually, Miss Shahazilia. So when I was first invited to present in this webinar, my mind went blank. I wondered what I could possibly share with the audience who know more about the subject matter I'm going to talk about. I'm going to discuss technology, of course, in the context of language learning. The educol people would be like, I'm watching you, you know. And then I'm going to talk about writing. There are writing experts here who's maybe published paper I probably read to prepare for this presentation. So after much thought and consideration, I decided to talk about something I'm passionate about, something that I have experimented in my class and that may benefit fellow teachers. So with the hope that I can inspire you to explore further, to be more open-minded and to embrace technology appropriately. All right. All right. Next, okay. Allow me to begin with this illustration and a little quote over there. If you have been to any of Professor Dr. Karim Alias's webinars, he's one of the USM scholars, you might have heard of this quote being mentioned multiple times by him. A fool with a tool, it's still a fool. It's originally from the US based software engineer, what's his name, Grady Butch. All right, well, I could not agree more. We may have sophisticated devices, state-of-the-art devices, softwares, applications, but if we do not know how to use them, they are most likely useless, isn't it? So in today's context, I think it's not an exaggeration for me to say that we are bombarded with too many education-related tools, and they are constantly upgraded, isn't it, Farid? So let me just give you an example here. Take Google as an example. Okay, they are very fast at responding to the new norms. At IIUM, at least in ELD Gambang, we have used Google Workspace for education for both formative and summative assessment. Google Meet has included new features. It has Jamboard, and then as well as the new cool background. You can change your backgrounds, and then Google Classroom has the originality reports and so on. And these are all of the icons over there, all of the softwares over there. They are the ones developed by Google. Okay, I cannot quite name every icon on the screen anyway, but sometimes it feels too much because there are too many tools. How do we choose from this smorgasbord of tools? Okay, so with this information to contextualize my presentation today, I will direct you to the language teaching and learning paradigm. All right, here. Okay, so these are the 4 language skills that we teach. Depending on the school of thoughts that teachers or institutions subscribe to, they are taught perhaps differently. Skill-based, where each of the skills is taught separately. For example, we have reading lessons in reading class, writing lessons in writing class, very focused on one particular skill. Besides that, the instructions can also be done in the manner that they are integrated. So you can have reading and writing and speaking in one class. Right. If I may ask our Brother Farid, of the 4 language skills here, which one is the most difficult one to teach, in your opinion?
I think reading is the hardest to teach. I always face difficulty in teaching reading.
Yeah, true. Me too. Reading.
Me too. All right. Very interesting. In the context of English as a foreign language, teachers basically think that writing is the most difficult one. But then for students, they feel like they said that the hardest skill to learn is actually speaking, and the easiest is writing. This is for English as a foreign language, not a second language. So it's quite interesting. The study was done in 2018, if I'm not mistaken, by Daransit. All right. So so we know that these four skills, they are very important skills, and then teachers should teach them accordingly. But then, are you familiar with the Cinderella analogy in language teaching, particularly for listening? Listening is described as the Cinderella skill, right? Because it is often ignored in language learning studies in comparison to, say, speaking. Okay, in my humble opinion, naturally, when language learning starts from listening, I believe we hear words from others, then we try to repeat those words. And later on, we are introduced to the symbols of the spoken language in print, for example, alphabets, words, and finally, we would try to reproduce those symbols, those words when we write. All right, this is what I just discussed. I'm keeping this Cinderella analogy to delight you. The different characters in Cinderella represent the other language skills. We have the stepmother over there, Lady Tremaine, the stepsisters, Anastasia and Drusilla, the evil ones. Dr. Farida discussed listening as Cinderella in a CELPAD webinar last year. But what about the other skills? It is found that more research have been done on reading and writing, as portrayed by both of Cinderella's stepsisters over there, Anastasia and Drusilla, 30% and 32% for reading and writing respectively. Okay, now we'll focus on Drusilla today. Unlike her sister Anastasia, she remains evil throughout the stories. That's actually nothing to do with this presentation, but the fact that more studies are done on writing, more teachers emphasize this skill in classrooms, somehow signals the demand and what is needed in the mainstream education today. It tells us that that formal education emphasizes writing capability. Okay, so let's focus on Drusilla. You know what I mean, writing skill. All right, let's move on. But first, let's admit that there are already existing challenges by both students and teachers. All of these challenges here, they are quite common. As a language teacher myself, I can relate to this list, especially time constraint and the workload. All right, if, for example, if I have 25 students in one class and I teach, say, 3 classes in one semester, so I would have exactly, how many, Farid? 75 students are all together. How long do I need to grade their essays? Not just simply grading, of course, but to also provide feedback that is both constructive, personalized, individualized. So, because if we give a feedback that is too general, like improve your grammar, improve your organization, it might not be very effective. And if the students receive the feedback a week later, it might not be as effective compared to if they get the feedback within minutes, hours, or a few days after the submission. So you remember the tools that I discussed earlier? There are too many tools, right? Perhaps with the use of some tools, the technologies, some of the challenges here, whatever written on the screen here, could be managed by the teachers. So let's have a look at the writing technologies that are available today. All right. Let me quickly define writing technologies in this context. In my presentation today, they refer to any available tools that enable writing processes to be completed. According to Flau and Hayes, India study, writing processes consist of planning process, drafting process, and then revising process. That provides, that those processes, they provide deliverance of the thought process of the student to another form that is understood by others, which is in the form of writing, words, phrases, sentences, paragraph. Also, writing technology refer to any tools that assist those processes, anything that assists those processes. Of course, pen and paper are the purest form, the first bullet point of it, the purest form of writing technologies. We have used them, we are used to them, we love them. Do we miss pen and paper? Do you miss them, Farid?
Not really though. My handwriting sucks right now.
Okay then. So pen and paper are the purest in the context of teaching and learning of writing. Students are writings with the use of pen and paper. They are not influenced by artificial intelligence, AI, unlike the rest of the tools on the screen. Word processors, both online, offline, web-based writing assistants, or also known as grammar checker, and automated writing evaluation. Sorry. To give you a better perspective, let's take WhatsApp as an example of the use of AI in writing paradigm. But this is informal, but it's still relevant. If you are texting in English, you can enable autocorrection, for example. It can correct or give you suggestions to the words used in your text. It can even remember your favorite phrases, the ones you always use. So AI is very powerful, and at some point, it made me wonder, should we use them in the class? Should we encourage our students to enable spelling and grammar check in Microsoft Word as well as Google Docs when they write their essay? Okay, that's for you to think about, okay? I think students can simply, in my opinion, I think students can simply use all of those tools to improve their writing, especially writing assistant tool, because they are created for that purpose, to improve writing. And also, in my humble opinion, I think we should embrace those automation features. They are already part of the teaching and learning process. Now, I'm referring to the last bullet point over here. I humbly suggest writing teachers to explore automated scoring / feedback / evaluation system. So here. So automation, is it good or is it bad? So these are some of the platforms that I have used in the writing classroom. Okay, there are a lot more, but the ones here have been studied by many researchers. Okay, what are these? All of these different platforms. Okay, briefly, these are the tools that both students and teachers can use in order to get an immediate feedback. And the feedback can be both summative and formative. Student can get the writing feedback in about 25 minutes, not even 1 minute, sorry, 25 seconds, sorry, 25 seconds, not even 1 minute, all right? All of these platforms, they are designed based on AI technology, as I mentioned previously, and they take advantage of this machine learning, deep learning, semantic analysis. So in that sense, these machines, these softwares, they are able to learn because they have the ability to learn. The more essays are submitted, the more it learns on how best to spot errors and how to give feedback. However, this is quite new in Malaysia. Okay, but Alhamdulillah, I had the opportunity to try two out of the platform here for a few semesters with my students. So because this is a sharing session, I'm sharing with you some of the features of the ones I have used before. Okay, these two are Write and Improve by Cambridge, and the other is Criterion. Okay. Okay, this is Criterion. There are quite a number of studies done on Criterion actually. It provides instant diagnostic feedback and a score. It's a Criterion score. So students, they can write at their own pace, they can plan, they can write, they can revise the essays multiple times. And then you don't have to do anything as a teacher, you just, sit back and then look at them, correcting their essay. Okay, when a student submits her essay, for example, she'll get detailed feedback on her writing, and the teacher will get a report of the student's performance. We'll get the report. So it will be something like this. Okay, it looks like this. The report here can be downloaded, and it is very, very detailed. Criterion, this software categorizes the areas to be improved. Okay, personally, I think this is very helpful for teachers. I will show you an example on how it looks like. Later on, our moderator is going to share the link, right? So you can access the document to see the sample of a complete report by Criterion if you're interested to do so, okay? This is for one of my classes in semester 2. Okay, these are some of the categories in Criterion that I mentioned previously. So it detects errors and it categorizes them according to these categories. So we have, for example, organizational development, the mechanic, the style, grammar, and usage. So for example, if a student uses the same words over and over again, multiple times, Criterion will highlight those words. And as a teacher, we can suggest some words to the students to replace the words they have used previously. Okay. For example, over here in the category of organizational development, okay, it identifies the introductory material. In our case, we use the terms general and specific statements in the introduction. It also identifies thesis statement and the other items like topic sentences and so on. All right. And this is the second one, the other AWE, I would call it AWE, Automated Writing Evaluation Platform that I've used is Write and Improve. This is developed by University of Cambridge. The best thing about what Write and Improve is that it provides a result that is linked to CEFR from A1 to C2 level. Even though I signed up as a teacher here, I can also use all of the features like students. So as a teacher, you yourself can improve your writing by using this platform. You can see on this side bar over there, there is progress. Okay, that's my progress. I can submit an essay and be evaluated. Okay, at the same time, you can also monitor your students' progress. Okay, this is just an example of how it looks like. Okay, students' progress can be depicted in this form. You can see that the horizontal axis shows the number of times students revise the essay. If you notice that there is one student who revised and checked her essay for 26 times, and that's a lot, okay? And I texted that student, congratulations, thank you for your effort and so on, all right? I was very proud of her. The vertical axis shows the CFR level. If you notice, they even reach C2 level at this point. How is this possible? Okay, first of all, we need to know how the system works. Okay, the system, it is actually fed with the training data, and the data is taken from real essays written by real learners and then graded by real human. Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, there are about 30 million essays. Okay, so the system learns from those essays. They are also like we call annotation teams who annotate the training data, then write and improve, compass the students' essays and the training data to get the grade or in the CFR level. Okay, but ironically and interestingly, it cannot assess perfect English. Okay, it cannot assess that because the training data is from students' essay. And also it cannot assess purple prose, you know, those flowery hyperbolic language, because the training data from, again, the language learners. So with that being said, the level might not accurately reflect CFR level human graders typically award, but what I can say for sure is that my students who obtain a C1 and a C2 definitely produce very clear, organized essay. So using they also use C1 and C2 vocabulary in their writing. Okay, this is the graph. For the range of scores of a particular essay topic. This is just for one essay. We can see that some students have improved from A1 to B1, and some B1 to B2, some maintain, okay, in one level. I feel that it is helpful for me as a teacher to see the progress of the students when it is illustrated in this form. Okay, the students can also see their individual progress. Okay, so These are my suggestions. Okay, let's use this tool as formative assessments. That means we use it in class to scaffold our lessons. Of course, the system is not perfect, just like us, we're not perfect, but we can, if I can use these words, we can exploit, we can manipulate it to assist us and our students. Okay, and it also helps students to do self-learning, independent learning, which somehow may pave the way for lifelong learning, inshallah. Besides that, it can promote assessment as learning or assessment for learning instead of assessment of learning. Okay, and most importantly, the two bullet points over there, it can decrease our teachers' workload and free up the time for the teachers, so that teachers can concentrate on the content of the student's essay instead of the superficial errors. All right, that's all from me, Farid.
Thank you so much, Sister Wani. Definitely very interesting, especially, on the notion of that it can actually reduce our workload. I like that. So I can actually echo your sentiment, and, especially when it comes to like marking students' essays, it is overwhelming and it takes a lot of time on top of other things that we need to do. But then before I move on, I just want to ask a quick question. I just want to, get off my way with that question.
Okay.
Can the two tools that you've just explored with us today, can they like detect nuances, like things which are not really clear? Can it?
It cannot. So basically, that is job for the teachers. So nuances, the subtlety, because words, it can have many synonyms, but those words might not have actually similar meanings, right? So yes, it cannot detect nuances. Not yet, maybe in the future.
Maybe in the future, right? Oh, thank you so much. Very, very highly interesting. So now, okay, I'd like to invite Sister Zila to speak. And I'm sure everyone is curious to know further about, how we can respond better to the impulses, the amygdala hijack that can happen in our lives, especially when we hear the word hijack. We often hear and see it in movies, right? But actually, our body can have amygdala hijack as well. So I'm sure you guys might be wondering what it actually is, right? What it means by amygdala hijack. So let's hear from the expert herself. So Sister Zelia, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Farid. Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. Okay, first of all, before I actually start, I have to actually give a disclaimer. I am definitely not an expert in this particular area, and definitely I am also learning from it. It's something which is very powerful. At the same time, when we are dealing with emotion, there's a lot of layers that we have to look at. So it's quite complex, but at the same time, it's very, very interesting. Okay, so let me start with my presentation. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, okay. Very clear.
Okay. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today I'm going to talk to you about making peace with emotions, right? Something which is quite hard to actually do, but inshallah we can actually do it. And the thing is just that when being a teacher, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of emotion that's placed around. So we need to actually know how to control emotions and all. All right, so to the benefit of us. Okay, so let's have a look at slides. So this Aristotle said that educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. And the thing is just that if you think about it, right, when we look at the education system throughout the world, maybe except for in Finland, right, most of us will actually be looking at educating the mind. We feel that it's important for us to actually, let's go to the next slide. We feel that it is very important for us to actually fill the students' head with knowledge. We think that success is all about that, right? The more intelligent people are, the more successful they are. true? Wallahu alam. I do not think so. And the thing is just that we think about it, in education, only one out of three major components making us a human being is emphasized, right? And we have two more components over here, which is emotional component, and also the spiritual component, but it is not like left behind. It is recently included in the education system. But the thing is just that even though it is there in the educational system framework, but it is definitely lacking in our classroom, right? But, if you think about it, we are lacking so much just because of this. Why do I say that? It's because of this, right? Because there's no single aspect of learning that doesn't involve emotions, right? Every single hour or every single minute of our life or every single second of our life, it has something to do with emotions, right? So in fact, the emotional component in education is the largest aspect. And this is what we are actually putting aside. We are neglecting. We think that it's okay. The thing is just that we teach people, we teach them knowledge, they will be okay. But is it true? Right? We look at the condition of the world right now. There's a lot of people who are unhappy with, our leaders and all, and all sorts of things. Human beings are not human beings anymore, right? Just why? Because we are lacking in emotions. We forget that we are just fellow human beings and we should be nice to another person, right? We feel that, hey, why not we just take advantage of people, right? We have power, then use our power to our own advantage. Why is this all happening? It's because of this. We are lacking in this. All right, so let's have a look at it. If I were to say this, now what? Is it true? Let's have a look at it. Right? No. Let's look at the part of a student. All right, when the student comes to class, as soon as they step into the classroom, right, they will feel uncomfortable. All right, let's say that it's the first day. Definitely, first thing first, all right, they step into the classroom, they feel uncomfortable among strangers because their friends are strangers. Even in the middle of semester goes through, they still feel that, especially if you look at the condition of our classroom, all right, whereby the boys do not speak to the girls, all right, and the girls ignore the boys. So these are the things, and people will actually feel uncomfortable, right, in the classroom, even though it is their own classroom, all right, and they also have to try to fit in, wanting to feel accepted, right? They definitely will feel shy because they do not know a lot of people, right, and trying to impress. When you are among your friends, you try to actually show that you are much better than them, right? This is not normal. So this is like trying to impress. It gives you a lot of stress, right? That is emotion. And then when the teacher started teaching, right, especially in the beginning of the semester, you don't know what's going on, right? New stuff that you are learning, right? Sometimes it's harder than you expected. You get confused. That is an emotion. All right. And because of your confusion, you feel that, oh, there's something wrong with me. Incompetence. You feel that, okay, this is it. Okay, I am stupid. This is, I just don't know why am I here. Okay. And because of that, you get worried. You are worried that you cannot catch up. You are worried that you just don't know what's going on. All right. And then you're worried that you cannot actually answer the teacher's question. And especially so when you are in class and the teacher is looking at you and posing another question, and you know that you are going to be called, all right? And that will actually make them very worried. And not only that, if they cannot answer, this is what's going to happen. Embarrassment. They will feel embarrassed in front of them. So these are the things that students, and even more, actually, there's more. So I'm just showing you in the classroom context. So these are what's our student is going through with their emotion, right? Every single second in class and so on. Now, not only the students have that, right? Kind of battling with their emotion, but the teacher also has it, right? When you look at the teachers, right? First of all, they are very nervous, and as soon as you get into the new classroom, you don't know how the students are going to actually accept you. You also don't know whether okay, is my lesson okay or not okay? Is it enough? all sorts of things. And then you are thinking also whether, okay, if I were to teach this, can the student understand? There's a lot of self-doubt, right? So that's one thing. And trying to impress, but of course, we also try to impress our students, right? We want to actually them to like us. And then when something bad happen, when you have, some of the students provoke you or whatever, and this is what happened, you feel disrespected, all right? You get angry. At the same time, you feel disappointed, right? And after a few weeks of marking papers, and doing lesson planning and all, you feel burnout. I know that a lot of us, especially, I'm not sure about in Gombak, but in Gambang, in semester 2, it was totally tiring, right? We had so many classes, so many students, right? And I know that a lot of us are burnt out, and it's like MCO all the time, right? We are always in our home, not being able to go out and enjoying ourselves. That really actually puts, a big burden on us. And at the same time, sometimes when you do a lot of work and your students just, come to class and pretend that you are not there, you feel very much unappreciated and you feel unworthy. And after sometimes you feel that you want to give up. I know that each and every one of us feels this, right? Okay, so that's why we have to actually see that the emotional component in education is very important. We just cannot just ignore it. Right? I think that it is high time for us to look at it. Right, now let's have a look at this. So today, what I'm going to talk to you about, I have actually separated into 2 components. The first one is I'm going to talk to you about emotional intelligence, and this is a kind of a tool. I'm going to actually teach you 2 things, right? Okay. So I'm going to teach you 2 things, right? One is how to control your emotions from getting the better of us, and also the next one is more of sharing. Right, I will see what's going to happen because I've just changed this one, so we'll see what's going to happen. All right, students' needs and how to have a happy, responsive, and motivated student. All right, I'm just going to show you what I did in class. Hopefully that it will be okay with you. All right, so let's have a look. Okay, so let's look at emotional intelligence. So, emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is actually how you control your emotion in class so that you are able to maintain that calm environment, learning environment, so that everybody can learn and everybody is motivated. At the same time, you are also motivated to teach. Right? So basically that's it for education. Yeah. But the thing is just that so right, this is what happened. Okay, so the importance of emotional intelligence, especially, is often neglected. However, students learning a second language, second or foreign language, look for and need emotional intelligence between the teacher and themselves, whether in the classroom or at a more personal level. Beginners need and ask for tolerance and patience, right, as well as understanding from their teachers and also fellow classmates, right? Sometimes the view of the teachers can make a student behave badly in class, and a behavior that was created by the teachers only doing, right? In the world of teaching English as a second and foreign language, emotional intelligence is still not widely known, used, and studied. Right, the thing is just that when it comes to emotional intelligence, the concept of emotional intelligence was introduced by Goldman in 1995. But yet, until 2012, right, you see that there's very little. I'm doing my master's in this, right? And this is what I see. There's a very, very few, research has been done when it comes to emotional intelligence, in teaching and learning of second language and all. So that even though if you think about it, right, this is very important because the thing is just that the students feel vulnerable when they are learning a new language. And the thing is just that we are getting, if we look at our, in our context, we have 18 years old student, 19 years old student. And during this time, when you are talking about language, most of the time people can be, people can talk fluently. But here you are in, at this particular age, and you are still struggling with the language, and when somebody else listen to you, and they are looking at you like what is wrong with this person, right? So you feel very bad, and that's why you feel vulnerable. And just because, and the thing is just that we are ignoring this. We think that, okay, let's give them the knowledge, teach them grammar, teach them writing, and that's it, they'll be okay. But the thing is just that we forget this particular component that we are looking at. All right, this is very important, that we need to actually do something about it. Now let's have a look at the next one. Okay, let me ask you. Okay, Farid, and also Wani, because you're here. Okay, let's imagine the situation. You send your students to the library to complete their research, all right, on a topic that you've given them earlier. And when you check on them, you found this girl dozing off while the rest of the class was busy doing their work. All right, now how do you feel as a teacher? And what label do you give this student?
Honestly, I feel upset. And I feel quite disappointed if that happens in my class, because the student is definitely not on the same page as me. So
yes, that's right.
Lazy, maybe the label that I can give.
Okay, good. All right. So this is what we do. And most of us will actually feel that way, right? Okay, let's look at it. This is what happened. All right. This is what we perceive. The moment that we see this girl, this is what we perceive. Okay, we perceive her as lazy. All right, you feel that she is disrespectful. You feel that, okay, this is a problematic student. Suddenly we label her like that. All right, and definitely, okay, because she's not doing anything, she's a failure. All right, this is what happened. All right, we do that most of the time. But the thing is just that, have we thought about it? Is there something wrong with that? All right, the reality behind it might be, all right, she have done all the work, because you have given the topic earlier. Maybe she have done all the work, right, the night before, all right, and she slept at 3 o'clock in the morning doing your work, all right, and right now you get angry at her for nothing just because she goes off because she's sleeping, all right, and at the same time, if you look at in front of her is a cup of coffee, meaning that she is sleepy, but she's trying to actually put effort in waking up, all right. Or maybe she's unwell, right? Sekarang kita ada COVID banyak, all right? You just don't know, all right? And then maybe she actually worked 2 part-time jobs while studying to help her family. How do you know? All right? And having problems with unsupportive friends or teachers. So it means that she's doing all her work on her own, where the rest, do not want to actually work with her. So that's why she actually finished up her work earlier, and so that she doesn't have to interact with others. You see? So all these things are possible. It's just that we are here just to perceive, and we are looking just at the surface layer, and we are branding people just like that. All right? Which is pretty bad. Now let's listen to this. I really like Simon Sinek. So let's listen to what he has to say.
We do not practice empathy. What does empathy look like? Here's the lack of empathy. This is normal in our business world. You walk into someone's office, someone walks into our office and says, your numbers have been down for the 3rd quarter in a row. You have to pick up your numbers, otherwise I can't guarantee what the future will look like. How inspired do you think that person is to come to work the next day? Here's what empathy looks like. You walk into someone's office, someone walks into your office and says, your numbers are down for the 3rd quarter in a row. Are you okay? I'm worried about you. What's going on? We all have performance issues. Maybe someone's kid is sick. Maybe they're having problems in their marriage. Maybe one of their parents is dying. We don't know what's going on in their lives. And of course it will affect performance at work. Empathy is being concerned about the human being, not just their output. And we have to practice empathy.
So this is what we need to actually have in our classroom. We need to practice empathy. We need to actually get to the bottom of it and see exactly, is it what you say is totally correct? Or is it that we have to actually stop and do something about it and check whether the students are okay or not? So, in every layer and level and also every field of studies or, in every profession, we need to have this. But the thing is just that right now, the world is lacking. And I feel that it starts with us, the teachers. We are, I think that we are the biggest influencer and we can do something about this, all right? So that the future generation, will have people with a lot of empathy, all right, who practices empathy, all right? So let's have a look at the next one. Sorry, what I'm doing. Yeah.
That's okay, Kazilia.
All right. Okay, let's look at it now. Okay, let's do this again, right? Think about the last time you've gotten angry at your student, all right? Go back to that particular moment where you get so angry at your student and you are like screaming at them or whatever, all right? So you know that you are angry, but at the same time, what exactly were you feeling at that time? All right, think of a situation where you were so angry at your student.
I
Is
don't
it really
normally get
anger?
angry. Yeah, I don't normally get angry at my students, but I think if I really get angry and then I could feel, like certain emotions from this iceberg, like exhaustion, feeling helpless, feeling like I've done something, but it's just not enough. So I feel bad for myself for failing my students, even though like it's them not performing, but I feel bad for myself. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. This is what we feel. All right. Thank you very much, Farid. Thank you so much. All right. The thing is just that what we are showing to our students is anger. But what exactly is behind that anger is actually like sometimes it is exhaustion. Sometimes because they don't care about us, we feel hurt. Right. And the thing is just that hurt people, right? That's what it is. All right. And sometimes because of PKP, we feel lonely, right? And we feel helpless. And sometimes when we are marking a lot of papers and we have not done well and we cannot finish it, we might actually feel guilty. Also, it's stress and all, right? So it means that we might be showing anger, but actually anger is not the real thing. What we are showing is this, all right? What we are feeling is this, all of this, all right? That we don't actually show and tell students. I normally do this to my students, right? I always tell them that you have to remember I am not a psychic, all right? I am no psychic. So if you feel something, you tell me so that I understand. I can understand you better and you can understand me better. So that's what it is. So if we have this kind of problem, just imagine, do we really know our students? Because they are also fellow human beings and they are also showing this kind of things. So they show that they are rebellious, but at the same time, is it really rebellious or something else that they are keeping from us? And that's why we need to actually stop and start asking, right? Okay, now let's have a look at this. Now, why do we actually get angry? Okay, why do we actually get angry? Why does our student actually act up? All right, now, what happened? Right, the thing is just that this is what we call as amygdala hijack. Okay, now amygdala hijack is, if you think about our primitive human being, right? There's such a thing, primitive human being, right? They have this amygdala hijack. It's just that this is what we call as our survival mode. So if we encounter any threat, okay, let's say that, I don't know, if you say primitive, that comes to my mind is T-Rex. Okay, let's say that, imagine that you are being attacked by a T-Rex. All right, okay, so what do? Do you actually stand there, all right, and just say, eat me? You don't do that, right? Okay, what you do is just that you start, running or doing something like scream, whatever, all right? You have seen how people, reacted in Jurassic Park. So nobody actually like just keep quiet, right? So everybody scream and run and whatever. Okay, that is what we call as amygdala hijack. Now, what really happened is this. Let's look at the function of our brain and how it actually works when it comes to thinking at home. All right, now, when we have any responses at all, okay, we sense any senses from touch or from hearing or from seeing what happens is just that all the senses will actually flow in our spinal cord, and it will be led to our brain. And in the brain, it will go to the thalamus. And the thalamus is actually the control center, right, of our brain, which controls and look and evaluate everything. All right, so whatever the responses or senses that you are feeling, it will actually be deciphered here. So if it feels that it is not a threat, then it's okay. It will go to the prefrontal cortex, right? Whereby this is where the rational thinking actually works. So it means that it's actually here behind your forehead. So it's like really in front of you. And think it's just that, right? It will actually make you think rationally, right? Make you see that, okay, this is the best solution. And after that, what happens is just that it will move back with the responses and the solution, all right? Going back to all maybe your hands or maybe your mouth, so you can actually act out on it. So maybe you can actually say something, all right? But all good things, right? But let's say that you get a threat, all right? You are faced with a threat. We don't use this slow movement anymore, all right? We need fast track, because the thing is just that when you are in trouble, you need to actually act fast. So what happens is just that we will actually, the senses will actually go to the thalamus, and the thalamus says that, okay, this is something which is bad. I need to do something quick. So it will not let the senses go to the prefrontal cortex. Instead, it actually makes a U-turn, a quick U-turn, and it goes and falls at the amygdala. And what happens is just that when the amygdala is triggered, it will hijack our whole system. All right. And when it hijacks our whole system, this is what we do. All right. We are in this mode. All right. So our response, flight, fight, and also freeze, right? So this is what's going to happen. So you can actually see, maybe you have experience, right? You get angry with student, the next day they don't come to class. Why? Because they fly, they just run away from you, or they become rebellious, all right? So this is a fighting response, or they just freeze. And this is what happened. We always see this when we ask question to the student. You wait 10 seconds, nobody answered, and you give the answer. Then you actually tell the answer. Freeze, respond. That is what they are doing. So when you understand this, you will understand what's going on with their brain. All right, and this, not only brain but also our brain. Okay, now how to counter this? We have emotional intelligence, right? So instead of taking the one that this is like the original emotional intelligence framework from Goldman, I like this one better, right? Business emotional intelligence, because we are doing work, right? So I think that this one is much better. Okay, let's have a look at it. So when we deal with this, let's have a look at just the diagram. Yeah. So we have intrapersonal and interpersonal. We have the emotional state, we have the emotions, and then we have the behaviors, and also we have the work. All right, here for the emotions, we have self-awareness and social awareness. And then we have for the behavior, we have self-management and relationship management. And for work, we have self-performance and people performance. All right, if I were to just say this, you might not understand. Let's go and I'll give you one situation. Okay, that we always encounter. All right, so a few students didn't complete your work, okay? Didn't submit your work. So what do you feel? You feel provoked, all right? And you got very angry, okay? So what do? If you let the anger consume you, you have started the amygdala hijack. And the thing is just that if the amygdala hijack your whole system, it will take 3 to 4 hours for you to cool down. All right, and our class, the longest that we have our class is 3 hours. All right, a 3-hour class. I think that if that is the case, and it takes like 3 to 4 hours, it means the whole 3 hours you are mad at the students. Can you teach well? No, you can't. Right? Because but of course you will actually like, I don't like this student. Okay lah, kita bagi sikit je, things like that. right? So what we do is this. When you feel that, okay, I'm getting angry, stop, pause, all right? And tell yourself to cool down. How do you cool down? Breathing action, all right? So what you do is just that, I call it as a 4-7-8, all right? Breathing method. Okay, so you inhale in the count of 4, right? Hold it in the count of 7. Then after that, exhale in the count of 8. Do this. Do not actually respond to your students. Don't do any of this, all right? So you actually like control your breathing. What happened is just that when you started control your breathing, you can try it, 4-7-8. I really like it because the thing is just that if you start doing it, you can actually feel that you calm down. All right, you really calm down. All right, and you feel that you feel that you how do you say this? All right, you feel that okay, I can control the situation. All right. So what happens just that when you calm down, right? Our responses will get the thalamus, right? Will actually not send the threat to the amygdala. So instead, because they know that okay, this is not a threat, right? This is not a threat. So when you cool down, it will actually interpret it as not a threat. So when it is not a threat, it will actually send this particular threat to the prefrontal cortex, and you can think rationally. All right, when you start, you have control of your thoughts and all. Now, question. Okay, the second part is to question. All right, take stock of everything that is happening. Look at self-awareness. All right, meaning that you look at yourself first. Okay, what is happening right now? Right, my student didn't actually see my work. All right, I am angry. Is it really anger? All right, maybe disappointment, maybe this and that. All right, so what exactly am I feeling? Next one, you look at that particular student. Okay, the student who actually created the problem. Look at them. Okay, look at the perspective of the students. Why is it that they didn't actually complete the work? And suddenly you realize that, oh, maybe you asked and then you got to know that, oh, okay, you have an examination. Today, so yesterday you do not have time to actually do it, and you are studying and all. Okay, fine. When we know about that, we don't get angry because we know that they want to pass that examination too. All right, and then we empathize with them, and then you feel that Allah kasihan pula, yeah. All right, I know that I want them to actually finish my work. At the same time, they are also struggling with their studies and all, and suddenly we actually feel pity of them. All right, and the next one that we do is, okay, after doing that, ponder. All right, ponder on it. All right, so this is self-management. Now think about it and ask yourself this question: what should I say or act so that nobody gets hurt and I get what I want? Right? The thing is just that when amygdala hijack us, we will say bad things, right? We just like hurtful things, say hurtful things to our student. But when we start thinking, we will actually say, okay, kalau I cakap macam ni, then the student will react this way. If I were to say this way, then it means that I will actually get a better response. So you understand that, okay, this is what I should do. But at the same time, you're also looking at a relationship. You are looking at also at this, okay? What do I want the student to do? All right, and what is my goal for this class? Actually, Zilia, what do you want? All right, you ask yourself, am I here to actually just get angry with my student, or am I here to teach? All right, so if I want to teach, what do I want to get? I want them to pass. At the same time, I want this, right? I want to actually make sure that they understand that I will not get angry. I am here for them. If you understand that and understand your goal, then you will actually, okay, stop whatever, okay, stop getting angry, let's fix, right? Then after that, you come up with all the situation or all the solution. Then after that, you act. Self-performance, right? So you show pity, understand the situation, and fulfill their needs. So say that it's okay. All right, I'm so sorry that I didn't actually know that you have an examination today, so don't worry about it. Why not you send it to me? Just do it tonight and then send it to me tomorrow. Okay, no problem. Okay, when you started saying that, you feel calm and you know that they are going to send it to you tomorrow. All right, so you you fulfill your need. At the same time, you are also fulfilling their needs, because they definitely do not want it. They need respect, the need of respect. They don't want you to talk to them, all right? So when you fulfill their needs, all right, you will go like, okay, miss, we'll do it. And the thing is just that after that, you are looking at the people's performance. So when they know that we have given them a second chance, don't you think that you are going to do it? But of course, they will. That night, you will actually start writing whatever that you need to do. All right, get it done. All right. So what happened to them is just that they feel loved and respected. Right. Because of that, they are motivated to do your job, and they will stop acting out. Okay, so let's have a look at the next one. Okay, so this is what we call as the emotional intelligence way. All right, so teachers with high emotional intelligence will actually go through this. So I hope that this tool can actually help you. So when you get angry, you are kind of confronted with any kind of provoking situation, you just stop and do this, right? So I hope that it will actually help you. Now let's have a look at the next one. So I'm giving you two tools, right? And the next one is what we call as the dear technique of assertiveness. Right, I got it from my psychologist, right? A psychologist friend of mine, and she taught me this, which is like very, very good. I feel that it actually works. This one, okay, let me just clear up one thing. If you're looking at this emotional intelligence framework, this is what you do when you immediately after you are being confronted, with emotionally provoking situation, right? Use this one. But let's say that afterwards you ask the student to come and see you. All right. So this is one-to-one situation, one-on-one situation. So what you should be doing is the dear technique of assertiveness. I think that this one is much better because I use this one with my students. So when I call them, to come to see me, personally, maybe we have like this GM meeting between me and that person. So you should be using this. Okay. First thing first, right? Now, what is being assertive? Being assertive is actually behaving confidently, and you are not frightened to say what you want or you believe, all right? But you are saying it firmly, fairly, and also with empathy, right? So that is assertiveness. So let's look at it. So the DEAR technique, right? DEAR technique. The first D, okay, the D is actually to describe the situation. E is to express your feelings, right? And you have A is to assert your belief and your wants, and R is to reinforce other people, right? The other person. So this is what you do. First of all, describe the situation, right? When you are describing the situation, you have to be very careful. All facts and do not include your emotions, right? The first time that I did this, when my friend actually asked me to do it, and she said that, okay, don't put any emotion. She asked me to think about one particular situation that it just angers me. So I think of that situation and I am already angry. All right. And she said that, okay, Kak Zira, you describe the situation without putting any emotion. I go like, yeah, oh, you gotta be kidding me. I can't. All right. But the thing is just that after sometimes I tried and I can actually take out the emotion and just talk about it. And this is what we call as being mindful. Being mindful is not actually looking at everything. We are just focusing on something that we want to focus. At present, this is what we are focusing on. So when you're being mindful, what we are doing is just that we are telling people what happened. We are not telling people the story of what happened. All right. Two things which is totally different. What happened and what the story of what happened is totally different. All right. Because the story of what happened, you will actually insert all your emotions, your thought, your assumption and all. So we do not want that. We just want you to give facts. So what you do is this, all right? This is a real situation that happens to me last semester, all right? In this previous semester. So what I did was, okay, I changed the name, all right, to Bobo. So I just call this student and we talk, all right? So the first thing that I say is, Bobo, you haven't been coming to my class since week 2. are you okay? Why didn't you come? All right. And then he answered me. All right, Miss Celia, actually I slept the whole way through. Okay. All right. Now, after that, this is my answer. Okay. Express your feelings. All right. How the situation makes you feel, and do not say that you make me feel unworthy or whatever. Don't do that. Okay. Don't start accusing. What you do is this. Okay. When you don't come to my class, I feel unworthy as a teacher, and this makes me feel so sad. At the same time, I'm worried that you might fail your examination. Okay, so that is what you said. Then after that, okay, after that they might say, oh, miss, I'm so sorry, blah, 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 blah. Okay, now this is what you do, okay? Assert your belief and your wants. Tell them, okay, of what you believe in and also your wish of what you should do. I believe that you are a good student, all right? But this is what I want from you. I wish that you will come to my class, participate, and do your homework. All right, that's what I want you to do. All right, and he said that, okay, miss, and then after that you reinforce. You can actually like straight away say this. All right, when you do this, you can pass your examination and you won't be left behind. Okay, so this is what you are saying, telling them that this is what you are gaining. All right, and I will help you to make sure that you pass. And if you want to work, okay, if you want to do the work that you have missed, just go and do it. All right, I will check it, and after that, I'm going to discuss it with you. Right, just as long as you get whatever that the students have learned, right? I just do extra work, but I will make sure that you will pass, right, by the end of the semester. And this is what he did, right? After that, he normally comes to class. I think that he missed only one class. This is right after IGA, right? Right after IGA, I think that during the IGA, he got band 3 for his task 1. All right, so I call him up. Okay, this is the time for me to talk to him. All right, and what happens is that after that, until the end of the semester, he came to my class. He missed one class. All right, no more of ghosting. He actually like did that to me. All right, so no more ghosting. He actually sent me messages. All right, and tell me that, Miss, I'm so sorry that I overslept this morning. I am so sorry. I promise not to do it again. All right. But the thing is just that we also have to understand that, let's say that you want to change yourself, right? You want to change something about yourself. It doesn't take just like that for you to change. You understand that changes takes a lot of time. So this boy is trying to change. If I were to say that, yeah, I see, this is you, all right? You're showing me your bad behavior again. If I were to do that, all right, I will lose this guy. All right, so but what I do is just that I say no problem at all. I understand that it is hard for you. Next time you just come, right? Go back, go to the GC, search for all the recording, learn whatever that I have actually taught you. Any question, you come and see me. Done. You see, you don't get angry, they feel okay. So that's how you do it. And by the end of the semester, not by the end of the semester, after just a few weeks from a band 3, this boy has already gotten a band 5.5, and it continues on until EPT. All right. So this is what we want. We must know our goal. Alhamdulillah, it happens. All right. So okay. Now I hope that it is okay for everybody.
Okay, it's
Okay.
interesting.
Okay.
Okay, so because I'm going to the next topic, which is students' needs, and this is I'm going to go. I'm not sure whether I'm going to go quite quickly or not. All right, because I've just changed it at 1:30 just now. All right, but let's do this. All right, because you will see that students' needs is something which is whatever that I'm showing to you is something which is common, you have done, right? And I feel that I do not want to actually if I were to show it, I'm afraid that I might actually get you feel that I'm degrading people or whatever. So I do not want to do that, all right? What I want to do is maybe share with you what I did with my class, all right? The things that I did in my class. Okay, let's do this, right? All right, so let's have a look at this. Okay, students' needs. So when we are dealing with students' needs, this is very important because students work the hardest for teachers that they like and respect. So when I'm asked, how do I get the students to like and respect me? My immediate response is like and respect them first, right? So this is Dr. Debbie Silva. All right, now let's have a look at what are their needs. All right. So we are looking at, these are the needs of a human being. This is not just the needs of a student, all right? This is just the need of a human being, but we are looking at these needs in order, because if you fulfill these needs, the student will be motivated, all right? And the student will be happy to come to your class, right? And the student will become a friend to you. So these are the things that we are looking at. All right, so we are looking at psychological needs like water, water, air, food, shelter, sleep, clothing. We are not going to give them clothing, and also no reproduction, definitely. All right, and safety needs. We have personal security, employment, resources, health, property. All right, love and belonging, very important. All right, friendship, intimacy, family, sense of connection. Esteem, respect, self-esteem, status, recognition, strength, and freedom. And the last one, which is very, very hard to actually, is self-actualization. Desire to become the most that one can do, right? So let's have a look at this. I'm going to go like really fast, okay, for this one. These are the things that you can actually do in class. You can actually have break time, and this is also the things that I do in class. So it's like nothing from, it's like something which is very common. All right, so break time, gauge the energy, give them like some breaks. So it means like most of the time people say that the best thing for doing, especially with online learning or any learning at all, 30 minutes of teaching. All right, stop for 5 minutes, ask them to do whatever that they like, something that they like. All right, playing games or whatever. All right, talk to somebody, chat with somebody. All right, then after that, after 5 minutes, start back again. So what happened is just that when your energy level has gone a little bit low, all right, when you start actually, you have that 5 minutes break, it will actually go up back again. So you will never have, the energy level will never go to the lowest. All right. And another one that I did in class is just that I don't know whether anybody did this, all right, but I do it. All right. And a lot of people do it for small children. I think that, hey, come on, man. All right, our kids are human beings too. All right, when they are tired, they are tired. All right, especially so when they have they didn't actually sleep the night before because they are completing their assignment and all. Okay, nap time. So what I do is just that when I look at the energy level, everybody is low, everybody is yawning, they cannot open their eyes. Okay, forget about it. I'm not going to teach you because you are not going to learn anything. I'm going to be, if I were to continue, what happened is that I will feel very frustrated, and I don't want to feel that. All right, and I know that they cannot help themselves. So what I do is that, okay, everybody, I'm going to switch off the lights. Everybody go to sleep for 15 minutes. All right, so that's it. That's what I do. All right, in like many semesters I've done this. Okay, so switch off the lights, sleep for 15 minutes. I will actually set the alarm. After 15 minutes, I will ask them, everybody to go out and wash their face so that they are walking. So at least, they become energized back again, and they can start learning with me. All right, no problem at all. Alhamdulillah. All right, and simple breakfast, right? Just to reduce hunger. If it is like 8 o'clock class, you know that our students don't wake up that early. All right, and then sometimes they have like classes back. You know how tiring it is, right? Mentally fatigued. And they need some nutrition, they need some energy, right? So this is what we do. Simple breakfast, curry puff, cukup lah, okay? I think that until today, my students still, after so many semesters, my students still call me up and say, Ms. Leo, I still remember your curry puff. All right, so that's what we do, all right? So we give them something to eat, reduce hunger. I still remember my students, at 10 o'clock, they just cannot work anymore. So I just our class is at 9, so we said that, okay, I just told them, okay, let's stop and let's eat. And you can see, their enthusiasm and their happiness when they say, Alhamdulillah, ada makanan, kesiannya. You look at them and say, Allah kesiannya, budak-budak ni lapar. All right, so this is what we do. We can actually do this, right? And they will really appreciate it. Okay, and then after that, do not give them nasi lemak. I have given them nasi lemak. Okay, the next thing I saw is that everybody falls asleep. Right, just simple quick. will do. All right, next one, safety needs. Okay, for the safety needs, okay, it is okay to make mistake. Teach them that it is okay to make mistake. All right, it is part and parcel of life. So you need that if they make mistake, then it's this one is a little bit harder for me to do. All right, I think that a lot of us kan nak kita macam nak marah aja. All right, but what we can do is this, that we have to actually emphasize on this part and parcel of learning. All right, it is okay to make a mistake, right? But don't make the same mistake over and over again. I think that one is the one that triggers our anger, right? So we need to actually do something about it, all right? And then give privacy. When they have problems or whatever, you can talk to them personally, all right, so that they feel safe. And when you want to get angry at them, all right, this is what I normally do. If I want to actually kind of get angry with I get angry with the whole class, all right? But if I were to call somebody, all right, I would not do that, all right? So what I did was just that, okay, I will actually ask them maybe to text them and say, can you wait after class? I want to meet you. All right, so it is one-to-one. So we give them the privacy so that we don't actually degrade them in front of their friends. That is not something that we shouldn't be doing. All right, and share feeling, be vulnerable, tell stories, of how you actually made mistake, all right, and laugh about it, right, so that they understand that we are just as human as they are. We need to actually do that. All right, and that's what it is. And also I forgot to actually put it here. And also, apologize if you make mistake. We make mistake as a teacher. We make mistake. If we make mistake, then apologize. Maybe after you get angry with them, apologize. I'm so sorry that I get angry with you. I am so sorry. I know that something, if it hurts you, I am so sorry. I have no intention of doing that. It's just that I just know. Right, so that they understand that. Okay, so that's what we do. Okay, next one. Love and belonging. Okay, talk to them, tell them stories. I have a lot of those stories, so I tell them a lot of those stories. I do have my diary. So diary in 1997, if I'm not mistaken. So that is the time that I went to Switzerland and I wrote 55 pages of my account there. Whatever happened, and and emotions and all. So I will actually read it to the students and they will go laughing. All right. So that's what we do. All right. And ask them to share stories. Ask them things. All right. And then tell them that, if something happens, then tell them that I am here for you. Help those who are unwell. If they're unwell, make sure that you check on them. The thing is just that sometimes kita cikgu, and we are mothers and we are fathers to them. So Tanya, are you okay? All right. Are you doing well? Not only to them, but also your family. Right now we have COVID. Two of my students, I think more maybe. All right, two of my students, the parents the parents were positive COVID. All right, so they were positive, and the thing is just that just keep track and then check on them. Are you guys okay? Are you eating well? Do you have anybody to actually help you eat? I don't know. Asking, sometimes kita tak boleh tolong pun, tapi the thing is just that being there and asking will actually help them a lot. And one of my students recently, his father died of post-COVID complication. All right. So what we did as a class is just that when we got to know that he sent a message to me saying that his father is critical in the ICU and might not survive. Right, so what we did was on the Friday night, we actually we just organized bacaan Yasin. So not only the students in my group, but also from other groups. His friend from other groups. I think that we have 25 students in the group. Everybody attended. All right, and also a few students from other groups. I think that there's about 40 students were there for the bacaan Yasin. All right, and I keep track with whether his father was okay or not. So these are the things that we should do. And after that we have donation drive and everybody in Gambang. So we managed to collect 1,400. I know that last year my father actually passed away, and okay, and even then it actually it actually makes me sad. And to see that happens to my student who is 18 years old, I know how he felt. So I need to actually be there for him. because these are the moment when you lost your loved ones and there's no ganti. Okay, so that's why you need to be there for them. All right, next one is everybody counts. All right, accept them for who they are. You cannot actually say that, I want you to be like this. All right, because there are some people who cannot do it. You have to actually understand that we are all different and we are special in our own ways, and you have to teach them that, right? And then also have lunch with them, right? Eat and talk, and sometimes we just gossip. with my girls, so things like that. All right, you don't mind, doing that. All right, the next one, good gossips are not a bad ones. Okay, and then esteem. All right, respect, self-esteem, and then status, recognitions, trying and feed them. Respect them, do not degrade them. As I told you, give them their privacy. Praise them. All right. Make them feel confident about themselves. If they look nice, then you say, oh, look nice. Did you actually change your hairstyle or something? You make sure that you see them. You have to understand there are students that nobody see them. Nobody asks whether they are okay or not. Not even one person to actually say hi to them. And they are alone in the campus. And sometimes they are also alone at home, right? So you need to actually acknowledge the one who are quiet. Just acknowledge them. When you actually say, when you see them coming in, and then you can actually, hey, assalamualaikum, how are you? And things like that. All right, positive responses. Right, when you're marking your students, work, then glow and grow. This is what I use. All right, instead of actually saying that this is your mistake and this is okay, this is okay. Then I use glow and grow. Glow is about all the things that is okay with their work, and grow is something that they can improve on. All right, so we use these words. And personal notes. I knew of, like, when I was a student, I had this one teacher who actually write personal notes to us. And I love when she did that. She will actually say, I'm so thankful that you do this. I am so happy you make my day. Aduh, kita dapat baca and we feel that so berbunga-bunga hati. You see, so that is what we should do. So that's what I did with my student. I thank them for doing a good job and all. So these are what we can do. All right, include them in decision making. All right, give them the power to make decision. All right, especially with classes and all, whether they want to have like homework. You want to have homework? Sometimes they say yes. Oh, please. Sometimes they need it. All right. Sometimes they please. Actually, kita orang ada banyak kerja. Okay, that is okay. No problem at all. All right. And the last one is self-actualization. Self-actualization. It's hard. As I told you, it's hard to actually get here. But the thing is just that what we can do is we can actually be in the process of getting there. Right? So becoming a better human being. That's what it is. So what I do first is inspiring them with books and videos, right? You search for books which is good, and sometimes the books that I'm reading and the books that I just love, I have kept for a very long time. And these are the things that I will actually share with my students. And with sharing that, we talk about life, the ups and downs of life, how to overcome obstacle. We talk about spiritual talk, our responsibility, all right, as a human being, and then how to become a better human. And at the same time, we also do donation drive, and all. Let me talk a little bit about the donation drive. I am inspired to do this because I have parents who are always generous. All right. Since I was a little girl, every weekend there will be so many of my mom's brothers, coming to the house, and and my mother will be cooking, and my father will actually be buying things, for my mom to cook. So I keep seeing this every single week. All right, and until I grew up, this thing happens. All right, I keep seeing them doing this, and every time people come to the house, my dad will always go there. Zilia, okay, here's the money, go and buy something. You make sure that our guests have something to eat. This is what I keep seeing again and again and again. And by the age of 18, all right, when my father gave me money, right? That is the time when you get a lot of money, kan? During that time, it's like only 50 ringgit lah, tapi a lot lah for me, right? So 18 years old, 50 ringgit, oh, that's a lot, okay, during that time. So what I do was just that, I don't know what happened, but there was this one particular time I watched the news and I saw this one boy who is handicapped. I think that my mom is watching, but my mom do not know this story, right? And what happened was just that it just triggers to me that I feel that I need to help this boy. All right, I was only 18. So every month I will actually write a letter to his father and I will put 10 ringgit, right, in an envelope and just send. I just tabel dapat. I don't know whether they receive it or not, but that is my contribution to help him. All right, and I keep doing that again and again and again, and I have a photograph of it, right? You know, a photograph during that time. It was Hari Raya, and I don't know which year, was I during that time, right? Which year, whether it is matriculation or degree. I think that it was degree, and in that picture was me taking a picture with all my friends, and during that time with one bag, all right, at my back, and I have one of my, in my left hand was that envelope. And when every time I look at that picture, I remember that, oh, this is the boy that I have. All right, it makes me feel so happy. And the thing is just that what magical about this is just that every month my father will actually give me 50 ringgit. And I will take that money and put it in ASB, right? Keep it. And the thing is just that if you think about it, if you can do the math, but of course, like if you can, this is simple math, even though all of us are English teachers. All right, if you look at it, so you have 50 ringgit, you are given 50 ringgit and you put it in the ASB 50 ringgit. So it means that you have nothing. But every month I will have 10 ringgit to give that boy. How it happens? Wallahu alam. I do not know. I do not have the answer. And because of that miracles that happen, that I want my students to actually know that they can contribute even though they are young. So what we did was, I cannot find the picture, I forgot to actually search for the picture. Every semester we did project, all right? It will be a weekly donation, or we can also, or a big project at the end of the semester. Weekly donation will be like, 2 ringgit per person. All right, 2 ringgit per person, and we niatkan untuk bagi donation tu derma tu kepada one student, and that student, all right, after that, giving of 2 ringgit to this one student decided, okay, will decide which particular charity body that we want to actually contribute the donation. So it can be, it is, we have sedekah for masjid in Hokkaido. We have done in Korea, masjid in Korea. We have actually given money to make masjid in Lombok, all sorts of things every single week. And every single week we have this one, we call it as Charity Friday. All right, and every single week, if I forgot, they will say, Mizila, come on, charity drive. All right, so we always actually do that, right? And Alhamdulillah, we managed to do it. And last semester, this semester, right, semester 3, during Ramadan, we did the same thing, all right? And we collect a lot of money. And Alhamdulillah, I think that the students are rich, good. All right, and we contributed to so many places. All right, bagi iftar ke orang and all sorts of things. So it's so wonderful. And the thing is just that the students keep coming and and after we have actually done, I have actually submitted the payment and all. They will say, Ms. Zila, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to do this. You see, and the last one that we did was just last week, if I'm not mistaken, last week or 2 weeks ago, during I think that during the 9 days of early days of Zulhijjah. So we did we helped what do you call that? We donate money for the for the graveyard in Hiroshima. Right, and the one that our director was talking about, right? So we actually contributed for that. We wanted to actually have this, most of the time we have this project, whereby by the end of the semesters, we will actually have what I call that, palm air, all right, water pump in Cambodia. So that inshallah lah, Allah Ta'ala lah, you know, this is our contribution. So if that water pump works like for 30 years, it means that we are giving what you call that, water to people, you know, for 30 years. So this is what we want for, you know, for them to actually take wudu, for them to take bath, you know, for them to drink and eat. All right. So this is what we are doing. So what I am teaching my students is to do this for themselves, you know, to see that even though you are young, it's not just about taking and taking and taking. It's about also giving. All right, because that is what my parents teach me. So that's what I want to do. Right, and also we did a lot of spiritual talk. I think that donation cukup lakukan adalah juga yang I think that when in 2018 in November I went to Mecca to do my umrah, and during that time, all right, I was still in contact with my student. So we actually just collect money and we donated Quran for it to, you know, we donated Quran, and the Quran is in Masjid Nabawi. All right, so you just imagine, you say the rezeki budak-budak ni. You see, these are the things that we can actually do for them. You just imagine, an 18 years old, you have, you know, in order to pay for the water pump is 170 per name. All right, itu per name tu I letak pelajar saja. You know, that's what I do because I want to make sure that they get it. All right, so this is what we do. If you know, for them to do it on their own, it might be hard. But with our help, you know, and all of us join together, all right, we actually pay like what? 10 ringgit, less than 10 ringgit in order to get that water pump, one water pump, one name. At least that, you know, we just like Allah ya Tuhan ku terima lah. This is what we are doing for, you know, for the students and all. And okay, am I going too long? All right, and spiritual talk. Can I show you an example? Can I show you an example? Let's look at this. Is one I gave them last semester. Let me show you just the book. Right, yeah. The books that we look at, Tuesdays with Maury. I think that a lot of people love this book. All right, very, very good book. All right, the book that I actually read, and most of the times when I was younger. The last lecture, Call Upon Him and Your Nearness to You. Right, these are the books that I actually used. Sometimes I use I have only this. Let's have a look at it. Let me read to you what this is. Right, The Walls Within. Right. Okay. I was on the madrasah rooftop with headphones on. My mind was troubled and I was looking at him for answer. For some 30 minutes, I sat in the corner looking at the vast nothingness of the night sky. The qasidah in my ear was doing little to ease my dismay as tears formed tiny puddles in my upturned hand. He's just not answering you today, Fats. Okay, the person who wrote this, her name is Fat. Fadila. All right, he's not. A voice of doubt crept in my heart. As if in acknowledgement of that fact, the qasidah ended and silence came down like a heavy curtain. Suddenly, a familiar voice broke in this night's stillness. A classmate was reciting a verse from the Quran again and again and again. I wiped my tears hastily. I thought that I had to move myself. You okay? My classmate asked, casually throwing a kind smile when she realized I was looking in her direction. Inshallah, I must reply. I didn't notice you. Yeah, I've been here for the past 15 minutes trying to memorize this particular verse. I'm sorry if I disturbed you. No, it's okay. I'm leaving anyway. I got up, dusted sand off my clothes, and headed back to my room. Later that night, As I got to bed, I was compelled to reach the Quran and search for the translation of the verse my friend was memorizing. My finger danced across the pages searching, and my heart beating a steady rhythm of anticipation. It came to a quiet when the verse 159 from Surah Ali Imran came into view. So pardon them and ask forgiveness for them and consult them in that matter. And when you have decided and rely upon Allah, Indeed, Allah loves those who rely upon Him. All right. And it was all the answer that I needed. Every single word. It had been repeated again and again. Half the time I was making the dua, but I was deaf to it due to the music in my ears. Perhaps this is what the wise men meant when they said that Allah is close and He answered all. Right? It is us who are distant and who put up a wall. Okay, so I read this to my students, all right, telling them that sometimes, yeah, when in life, I think that we ourselves also actually go through this, right? When we are asking Allah Ta'ala for help, we are just asking and asking and asking, just like this lady is doing, going and, tearing up and asking, crying and asking Him to us, to help us. But sometimes we don't actually find the answer. And sometimes we feel that Allah Ta'ala has neglected us. So let's call God, okay? Because we have the non-Muslim here also. All right, our non-Muslim friends. All right, sometimes God actually, we feel that God has actually abandoned us, has forsaken us. Or maybe we are such a sinner that people that Allah Ta'ala has actually said that, no, I'm not going to answer you. All right. And this is what happened to this lady. And when she actually looked at it, at the verses that her friends was reading, and she found out that that was the answer. It was all the answer I needed, every single word. Right? It teaches us that whatever that we want, inshallah, Allah Ta'ala will help. All right, it teaches us that, when you go through the motion of, trying to actually get the students to actually get our condition, we are trying, and I know that some of us are trying so hard in order to get the students to actually learn, to get the students to be excited with what we are doing. And sometimes they might actually feel, we might actually feel that they do not appreciate what we are doing. But the thing is just that understand this. When you ask Allah Ta'ala for help, Allah Ta'ala is always there answering you. He will never ever abandon you. And this is what we have to understand. All right. And Allah Ta'ala will not abandon us at all when we are doing the things that we know which is right. So the thing is just that when we are dealing with emotion, when we are dealing with all these things, right, it is hard. But I know that one day Allah Ta'ala will definitely help us. And this is one of the things that we did. All right, let me show you this. I need to actually fast forward. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's watch this one. Good job. Is it 4:50? It's right. 4:50. Is it 4? Okay. Okay, let's have a look at this.
ออกมานี่เลยนะไอ้ขี้ขโมยไหนดูสิเอาอะไรไปออกมานี่เอาไปทำอะไรเนี่ยฮะถามว่าเอาไปทำอะไรเอาไปให้แม่
เดี๋ยวเจ๊แป๊บนึงแม่ป่วยเหรอ
One sec.
อย่าทำอย่างนี้อีกนะ
หมวยเกาเหลาจ๋อนั่งเลยครับนั่งเลย
ป๊า
จัดไปสั่งมาเร็วต่ออะไร
Gentle state. Summary of medical expenses, total 0. All expenses paid 30 years ago. Three packs of painkillers. And a bag of veggie soup. Giving is the best communication. Now, why did I show you this? Okay, we're coming to the end. Let me close this. Okay. Now, why am I showing you this? There's a reason why I show you this particular what do you call it? It's just a documentary. I teach my student inference with this, all right? And every time we actually watch this video, all right, all of us, why? Because we see kindness here, and that is something that inspires me, right? This particular advertisement, right? Why is it so? It's because of this. Right, it's because of this, right? We just never know. This is what I keep telling my students. You do kind things to people because you might never know, how far your kindness will go. All right, sometimes that particular kindness will go until the day you die and beyond. You just never know, right? That man was lying, that man was lying sick on a hospital bed. He didn't know that, all his expenses is being paid. It's not that I'm doing this kindness just because I need my medical, expenses to be paid in the future. not that I'm doing that. I know that none of us students are going to do that. All right. But what am I doing is just that I would like to show you the last part, whereby, if you go back to the story, the last part of it, whereby Dr. Prajak doesn't actually help the person who's helped him, but he also, because he was inspired by this man, all right, just nothing but a noodle man, all right, he was inspired by this man, that he actually go and help other people. This is what kindness is all about. When we show kindness in the classroom, we might never know where the kindness will actually go. It will come back to us, maybe it will go to somebody else. All right, so this is what I want. All right, I do not have any children, and this is what I want. This is my legacy. All right, that is to teach the student to be kind so that they will keep going on and doing and pass it forward and forward and forward. Maybe until the day I die or beyond that. And that is what my goal is, to get that, to make the students understand. And the thing is just that, Allah as my witness, this is what we need to do. We need to actually go and do this. All right, this is what you do. You touch the heart of your students, so that when they see this, our sincerity and our kindness, they will actually know that this is the right thing. Maybe whatever we did in class will actually make them, inspire them in such a great way that they will remember us and remember the thing that is being done. Maybe they cannot remember our names, but they still remember the act and the things that, the feelings that we make us feel, we make them feel, and it will actually continue on and on. I still remember there was this one time, and I start doing it for a very long time. I still remember there was this one time. I was alone in my house, and that was, I think, that a few months after my divorce, right? And one of my students, and he was an Iraqi student, right? He called me up from Iraq. And this is the boy. He's only I think that he's during that time I was about 26 years old. I was 39. And he called me up and he called me mama. He didn't call me Miss Zelia. He called me mama, right? And he said that, Mama, how are you? And I said, I'm okay. And then he said that, are things doing well with you? And I do not have anybody to talk to. So I said to him that, I just got a divorce from my husband. And he said, why? And I said that because my ex-husband feels that I am not beriman enough to be his wife. And this is what he said, Miss Zelia, whatever he said, to me, you are an angel. And when I got that, it makes me feel so happy. And I am so touched by this son of mine. All right, and it's just that this, all right, he didn't pay me, he didn't pay like 700 and whatever baht, for my medical expenses. But he says this magical words that made me feel, during that time was the lowest time in my life, that I have one particular student that Allah sent to me just to tell me that. And I am very, very grateful. At least something that I did was right. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullah.
Thank you so much, Sister Zelia. I'm trying not to cry. I was actually on the brink of tears as well. It was definitely a powerful sharing, a powerful presentation from you. So here are the things that I've got from your talk. Yeah, emotional intelligence is still understudied, even though that we are in 2021. That's pretty sad. And there are two particular things that I got from your presentation. Number one is the power of being vulnerable. Like nowadays, people always tell us that we need to man up, right? We can't cry, we can't show our emotions. We just have to put on a mask every time we meet our students. But I think it's actually okay to be vulnerable, to show emotions, right? Because after all, we're just human beings. And secondly, is that a simple "Are you okay?" can make someone's day. Like when Sister Zila was presenting and she was like, "Are you okay?" It hit like it hit me. Like, oh, did she ask me if I was okay? Yeah. I'm not doing so good, like amid this pandemic and stuff. Okay, so anyway, I have two questions, okay, but I'll ask Sista Azwani first so that Kak Zila can actually take a breather. So anyway, referring to your presentation, you were talking a lot about automation, AI, the technology, how we should actually make use of these readily available resources on the internet. So automation is arguably good, right? But then it poses a moral dilemma to us, to students, to us as teachers, whether it promotes user autonomy or dependence. So what's your take on this issue as a teacher? And secondly, with automation being at the forefront of our focus, do you think that one day teachers will be obsolete, like we won't have a job anymore? What do you think?
Okay, thank you for what good questions you have. Okay, responding to the first question, if whether it promotes dependency.
Whether it promotes like user autonomy, like whether it gives the freedom actually, or it actually leads to dependency.
Okay, then I think it actually promotes autonomy. The fact that AWE, the automated writing evaluation, it can actually give some platform for process writing approach. Okay, that means they have this autonomy to do revision. They can do revision all by themselves. So that's one form of autonomy. Okay, self-learning is another form of autonomy. So as I presented earlier, okay, they can do self-learning. That means that when we give them a topic and they write down the essay by themselves, yes, autonomy is there, in my opinion. And for the second question, whether or not the teachers are obsolete, I don't think so. It may appear so, but no. Okay, so I have read somewhere before that as for writing, there are two goals. Okay, one is local goal, the other is global goal. So it is local goal versus global goal. All right. So local goal is that when it concerns like grammatical errors or superficial errors, punctuation, for example, paragraphing, that is local goal. And then global goal is when it concerns the purpose of the writing itself. So if you ask the students to write an argumentative essay, they should write an argumentative essay. So this system, AWE, all this automated system, they have yet able to actually help with the the global goal, the bigger goal. Okay, so that where a teacher comes in. Okay, to actually look at the content, the coherence and the cohesion in the students' writing, because this computer, those systems cannot do so. Okay, up to this point. So we're
So
not,
can I?
okay, don't worry. So
Okay.
we're relevant today. We're very
So I'm no
relevant.
longer worried. So I can say that, all these resources on the internet, like the automated writing evaluation, it can be supplementary, but it cannot
Yeah.
replace us as teachers, right?
Yes, it's formative. We have to see this, we have to take the new role as a teacher. We have to try our best to improve maybe the content besides, just grammar error, tenses, because those can be done by Microsoft Word, this, the grammar checker and so on. So now it's our turn to actually look at maybe, as you mentioned earlier, nuances, right? That's our job, I believe.
Thank you so much, Sister Hazwani. So now let's move on to Sister Zelia, okay? My question to you. So what's your message to those who might be struggling, with mental health, work from home? Because working from home, in my opinion, is quite overwhelming because we don't really know, like, when does our work really end by the end of the day? It seems, like 24/7. So I'll posit this question in a way that working from home disconnects you from the actual human touch that we need. Like our social battery is full, but then we don't really use it. Like it's just full, but then we don't use it. So what is your message to these people?
Okay, for me, I feel that, you can actually like go so far. You have your limitation and you have to actually understand your limitation. I'm living alone here and sometimes it affects me. It affects me a lot. So the thing is just that what you can do is just when you feel that way, seek help, right? Always seek help. Do not actually stay alone and feel that, no, I can actually handle this myself. No, you can't. Right? You can't. You are just lying to yourself by telling yourself that you can actually be strong. Yes, we can be strong at to a certain level, all right? But after that, we need to seek help. So by seeking help, meaning that you can actually call a friend, talk to a friend, all right? Tell a friend, search for a friend that you know that you can actually like talk to. I have like my friend, I have like, Zai, which is Kazai, which is like just nearby, all right? And I also have like Muzam, and I have Wani to talk to, right? So all these people are my support system. They are going to be there for me, and when I feel sad or whatever, and this is what I do: just call them, talk to them, and at the same time, you do whatever that you like to do. Like for example, that I like to drive, so I need to see the mountains, right? I am like into nature, so I need to see mountains. I love mountains. I love to drive, so I need to do that. So as I actually go out and I drive and I see mountains, I am okay, alhamdulillah. So that's what normally I do. And the thing is just that when you keep quiet, when you keep quiet and you feel that you can actually do it on your own, you can actually like solve this problem on your own, you are not opening doors for other people to help you. And sometimes the thing is just that Allah Ta'ala is there to help you. It's just that you are closing your doors and you're putting walls, you see. And so that's the thing, it's your choices, okay? So what you need to do is go to people, the one that you trust, talk to them. All right, I'm having this problem. I need your help. You just tell, blurt out everything that you want to say. Then one way or another, these people will be helping me. You know, I have Zai coming, you know, checking on me all the time. I have Kak Muzam also, right? I think like just like few weeks before, I think like before the PKP, the EMCO, she came and she said, "Okay, Zilia, I'm coming to your house, and I'm taking you out. Okay, let's go and have fun." So she actually took me for a drive, and we go to the ocean, to the sea, because I love the sea so much. You know, we got to see things, and then we got to talk, and I feel so good, and I'm so grateful to have a friend like her. So these are the things that we can actually, you know, we are able to experience just because, you know, we open up. All right, opening up and telling people that you have problems, that you are on the brink of insanity. You need to, you do that just because, not because you are weak. It's because you are strong. You are strong enough to actually say that I have a problem and I need your help.
Thank you
That's
so
why.
much. Thank you so much, Kak Zelia. I think that's a very powerful answer as well. So I think it's time for us to like destigmatize seeking help. You know, like when we seek help, it doesn't mean that we are powerless or like useless or helpless, but actually we have the power. We empower ourselves to do that. Yep. Nothing to say. Anyway, we have actually come to the end of the webinar. Okay, so I thank Sister Hazwani and I thank Sister Zila as well for the sharing session, for sharing so much wisdom with us today. And thanks to the organizing committee as well for making this happen as well. So let's end the session with Tasbih Kafarah and Surah Tuas. So with that, that's the end of the webinar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and have a